Hi, everybody. It's Stacy with the R&R Ranch Round Up. I am here with my beautiful daughter, Belle.
We're back again.
We are back. We are a little giddy today.
Oh my God.
I think because...
No, it's because there's never a dull moment. That's why. Also, It's because the second we started talking.
The birds. Here's what you guys have to know.
We have guests today.
We have some background music in the form of
birds,
tweets, chirping, singing,
squawking.
I can't help it. You guys,
yep.
You know we are very low end with everything that we do. We are your budget,
low
podcast.
Budget. We are your low budget, family friendly
attempt at a podcast. Yeah. So here's
an attempt.
So today we have the birds in the room. They have been perfectly quiet until we just started, until I just said, hi, everybody.
I know, but I also think we should note that the birds don't like me. I don't like the birds. And
that's why the birds don't like you.
And so whenever I'm in the kitchen, they squawk.
Well, Sebastian kind of aggravates you, but at any rate, so we have birds in, there he goes. We have birds in the background. We have four dogs underneath both of us. They're all sleeping at the moment.
All puppies.
The minute my husband walks in,
it's not going to be good.
No.
You're going to know.
But I'll tell you, it's too cold to put them outside.
No, I think they need to know the real answer to that.
I don't want to bathe them again.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's not too cold.
I don't want to bathe them again. I've already given Handsome a bath twice today.
Handsome's had 2 baths. And then I came over with Ellie, obviously, and Lila, and Ellie's like a little bit like a tornado in the house, and
in the yard,
and immediately they went outside, and then they turned into black labs, and so then they had to have tubs, and so they're in.
We're just rolling the dice that they're going to stay quiet, and we are going to be able to get through this. It's going to be a shorter podcast, so we're going to zip through this.
Yeah.
But know that the birds are in the background. That's okay.
There could be chaos.
All right. So a couple things. We are through with our holiday rush. That's done. We're buttoned up.
Yep.
Everything's out the door. Holiday cards are out the door. I don't want anyone thinking that they're not getting one. They gave us their address because USPS this year is so ridiculously overwhelmed with mail and packages. I think, what did you tell me? That they normally have 150 to 200 packages on this one guy's route?
Like 70 to like 120 on this one guy's route. And now he's got like 250 packages a day.
Yeah, it's more than twice.
Well, and also like we really overwhelm our poor mail guy. And so then when they see that we have a pickup, they start sending this girl in like an empty minivan.
And so it's a lot of mail that the post office is dealing with. So don't think that you're not getting a card. If you sent us your address, it's coming. It's just the mail is pretty slow this year.
Also, for anybody who placed an order, if you happen to get a wrong order,
they won't, honey.
Just let us know.
They won't. That part I feel confident about. That part's fine. Don't start casting doubt out there.
I'm not casting doubt. I mean, maybe I am, but I feel good in our process and my double checking, but it's just we had so many orders that
I know. I think everything's
fine.
That's anywhere though, but that's fine.
Okay, that's anywhere.
Okay, so orders are out, cards are out. The next thing is tomorrow is gifts for local children
because we don't have too much going on.
Well, no, because we had to cancel our holiday open house.
I know.
And usually, you guys, it's like our favorite time of the year when we have our open house and we have Santa here and Mrs. Claus and elves. And I mean, it's a production. Last year, we had 25 volunteers helping us with the open house.
And also last year it snowed.
Yeah.
But it was still, I mean, I feel like we still had a ton of people come even though it snowed.
But you can see that on our Instagram or Facebook page. You can see the whole Well, actually, Josh did that. It's a gorgeous video that you did.
Yeah, it makes you cry.
It does. It makes me cry every time I see it. Once that snow, when you're like up in the apartment looking down, it's like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so what we're doing for the kids, because they're not able to come and they're not able to sit, like we always cater to children. We have tons of like the giant candy canes, the ones that are thick.
Yeah.
We have those. We have all kinds of cookies and sweets and treats and hot cocoa and just a lot of things for children.
So
and they
stuff.
sit on Santa's lap, and
they get to see the ponies.
They get to see the ponies. They
It's
get a
just fun.
gift. So here's what we're doing. So this we worked on today. Oh God, that probably just
blew everybody's ears out.
everybody.
Yep.
So this is an example of what everyone's going to be getting. All the kids.
Backwards.
Is it?
There's the front.
Oh, there's the front. So we have a lot of these buckets, and then they're filled with boxes of crayons and pencils, packages,
candy and stickers, and everyone gets a Martha cookie.
Everybody
and
gets a
some are
Martha
in
cookie.
These buckets, some are in
hats,
Cowboy
silly hats.
hats.
I mean, they're cute. They
are
can wear
cute,
them
yeah.
afterwards. So anyway, so that's tomorrow. We're going to have that. I'm going to put this away, and
off you go.
off you go.
The
So
whole
that's
dining
tomorrow.
room table is full
Covered.
of them. So that's tomorrow.
So kids will come pick it up. They're not having a tour of the barn. It's just we simply line them up on our driveway. It's an honor system. People have told us how many kids to prepare for that they're going to pick up. It's an honor system. They pick it up
system.
and they go.
Because if I went somewhere like I was going to pick something up and I saw all these, I'd be like,
Of course you would.
well, Mom.
Well, honey, most people don't.
Okay, well,
most people have a
let's hope.
conscience.
Well.
Here's another thing that's fun. Look at these cute little Franklin notepads.
They're the cutest. That's our best notepad because
It's a good one. It's a good design of
I think
him.
it's the best one.
Okay, it's a cute design of him. It's kind of like our go-to theme of Franklin. And so anyway, those just came in over the
but
weekend.
You know what,
so
Mom? You know what we don't have that we could show?
what?
The new stickers.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they're not in the kitchen anymore. But so a lot of
they were
times
here.
people get packages from us, and especially the boxes are chewed on because Franklin is always in the room. He's always in my office, and he's always chewing on corners of boxes.
Everything.
So we have a sticker now that will go on those boxes, and it says "Inspected by Franklin," and they're the cutest thing in the world.
Yeah, they are so cute.
So if you get a package that's been inspected by Franklin, you're a lucky one. Let's say that. Okay, what's been going on?
Although I will say, I think he really left like a lot of the packages recently untouched.
He did. And I don't know why. He was really just more of a lounge lizard in the office. He was just always underfoot.
Maybe it's because we were in there all day long and had the fireplace on and it was warm and he was just like, I'm out.
He loves it.
Yeah, he loves it.
Okay, so what else I was going to say? Oh,
the Christmas, the pictures today?
The pictures.
Yeah.
You know what? We've done pictures of the ponies this week, and I haven't posted any yet.
They're so cute. I hope they turned out.
Me too. I haven't even looked today. But I'll tell you this. The first group that we did was Banks, Eleanor, and Molly. Molly is like on another level of her cuteness.
Cute. The cutest.
I mean, just the cutest.
I mean, Molly's just like so cute in general.
She is.
So like dressed up for Christmas.
Just with a red bow.
Yeah, she's just so cute.
The cutest. And
Banks is obviously always cute.
Banks is obviously always cute. He's just, this beautiful little white pony with a red halter, and we stuck a red bow on him. And Eleanor, oh my gosh, Eleanor, like if we put a side-by-side picture of her from when we first got her from auction to this really cleaned up, happy little pony that she is with her little Christmas halter on and a little red bow. It's cute.
It's so cute.
It's sweet.
You know what? Like when we go up to the barn, like we spend so much time with the dwarfs.
Yeah.
And like back in the day, like Banks was our superstar.
Yeah.
And we would do everything with Banks, and Banks was like, it was Banks. Like Girl Scouts would come, Banks would come out. Holiday house, open house, Banks would be out. Mm-hmm. And, we just have so many awesome minis.
Yeah.
And so many great personalities that really get
to the side.
Overlooked because we're so busy with the dwarfs and
everybody wants to see Martha.
Everybody wants to see
Everybody wants to see Booker.
Totally. Everybody
now
wants
Baker,
to see
Teddy.
So it's just sad that it's
is sad. They get overlooked.
They get overlooked.
They get in the shadows. But you know what? I've been posting more and more videos of a lot of the playfulness going on in the paddocks, and people are like, "Who's that?" It was Mr. Chocolate. And the other day when Betsy Chocolate was running around, people are like, "Who's that?"
Well, but Mr. Chocolate is the biggest oversight. I feel like he has so much personality.
He's the cutest,
and he's just in the bum paddock, and
he's not a bum paddock. He's just in the
pokey
paddock.
The bum paddock.
They're not the bum.
Mom, they are the bums.
They're just kind of pokey. It's Milton.
Yeah, okay, they're bums. They are bums.
They're not bums.
They want to. But the problem is they want to go outside and just hang out, which is fine. Mr. Chocolate doesn't want to do that. He wants to go outside and play.
And and he doesn't have anyone to play with. He's the only he's like we took a 10-year-old boy and put him with a bunch of 50-year-olds.
No, we put him in the nursing home.
No, he's not.
Mom. Remember what Connor would call it? It's the geriatric group.
I know it's not. I mean, Elle and Sophie are only 7 years old.
I know, but they don't play.
They do.
Okay. Well, anyway, Mr. Chocolate wants to play, and he gets to look at the other paddock of them playing. But then when we did let him play with the boys up in that paddock, he got scared to death.
Oh yeah, he got really scared.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anyway. we're going to do a post on him too because he's an interesting story. I'm not going to tell it now. But if you remember how afraid we were to bring him home.
Very.
Okay. So we'll explain
More
that
to
story.
Come.
More to come.
More to come.
Okay. Here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Christmas and the gift of ponies.
Yes.
Because that is unfortunately out there in the world.
A very real problem.
It's a real problem. It's no different than a puppy coming out of a box under the tree, or a kitten, or a bunny at Easter. You get a Christmas pony. So let's talk about that for a minute, and let's talk about why it's not a great idea.
Okay, well, first and foremost, why it's not a good idea, because our biggest superstar was supposed to be a Christmas present.
Yes, she was.
And if anybody else had gotten her,
she would have died.
Yes.
No question. Martha would have died.
No question.
She almost died on us.
Yeah.
And we knew what we were doing, and she almost died.
Yeah.
So let's talk about getting that pony for Christmas. Now, when we say pony, you guys, it is a very generic term, okay? We have miniature horses, and we often just call them as ponies. Full-size horses, people call ponies, okay? They'll say, look at that cute pony over there. I mean, it's just a simple term, all right? Yeah. So it doesn't mean anything or not. All right, so Christmas ponies. So let's just talk about that. So it is very easy for people to make this impulsive decision. They're like, oh my gosh, we've got little kids. Let's get them a pony.
Well, not only that, we made an impulsive decision.
With?
Miss Mackenzie and Sherman? But
I don't think so. I don't think so. We thought about that. We talked about that. We even talked about the fact that the barn wasn't built. We're like, oh, good. Let's put them over here. They'll get socialized.
Right. But we knew nothing about miniatures.
Yeah, but it wasn't an impulsive decision. We knew that we had time to build our barn, and we'd have time to learn before we brought them home. So
I still think that wasn't an impulsive decision.
No, if there's any impulsive decisions in this house, it was the first bunny that we got. That was an impulsive decision. And
handsome.
Oh, yes, it was a big time impulsive decision. Hey, you got any more puppies back there?
Give me.
All right, let's rein it back into
rein
ponies.
It back in. Okay.
So you think it'll be fun? We'll get the kids a pony, and you go online. You can find them a dime a dozen on Facebook, on different groups. You can find them on Craigslist. You can find them posted in different tack shops. So you can find a pony anywhere.
If you just literally Google it, they're there.
All right.
Unfortunately.
So you get a pony. A responsible breeder, which I will say are few and far between. A responsible breeder. So a responsible breeder is somebody who cares about the breed, who is doing genetic testing to make sure that the offspring is not going to have any dwarfism. They will carefully vet out who gets the pony, who buys their little foals. That's a responsible breeder. They will almost always have in their contract, if you don't want that horse at any time in its life,
they'll take it back.
I want it back. That's a responsible breeder.
Yep.
Everyone else out there that calls themselves a breeder, okay, is anyone who has a stallion and a mare. They breed the horses and
off they
boom,
go.
they're a breeder.
Yep.
Okay. There's no testing. There's no known health history or information on any of the offspring. And it is often, sadly, money driven. Okay. That's why they're having these babies. So do they really care about where the horses go? I would say if we just throw a blanket statement out there, I would say probably not. I mean, if you've got $500 or $700 or even $200.
I don't know.
I'm not trying to say anything negative towards true breeders.
Totally.
And those that are really doing their job well and trying to perpetuate a breed. I'm talking about those that really are just doing this, the backyard breeder.
Well, and a lot of the times that, a lot of the people who have minis for sale aren't breeders. They just simply have a stallion and a mare, and they get in the same field. They live together. They're in the same barn. Something happens, and here's a baby. I'm going to sell it. I didn't want a baby. And
there you go.
I don't know.
So let's talk about this. So now you get this baby, okay? Now you have a little horse that you are going to tie a red ribbon on. You're going to march your kids outside on Christmas morning, and they're going to be so excited. Chances are the average person doesn't know about how to take care of them. They may have horses in the field. They may have some equine experience, but not necessarily for miniature horses, which is what we've tried to tell people, is that you do not care for them the same way you care for your full-size horse. And so with that, you now have this little miniature horse that may or may not have come along with its little bag of goodies, like the hay that it's been eating all of its life, the grain that it may be on. You may not have any of that. So now you've got this little horse that's been taken away. It's in a new environment. You're going to give it whatever hay you have, if you have it, or you're going to go out and buy some. You may be feeding it the wrong kind of hay. And you're going to toss it whatever kind of feed you have in your own barn. Or if you are new completely to horses, you're going to go out and get, some kind of a mixture that you don't know anything about as far as how it's going to affect that little horse's GI system and how much to feed it. So now we've got this little horse that has a new family, a new environment, new hay, new feed. And that all right there is a recipe for a sick horse.
Totally.
So, a lot of these horses may not even make it very long under those kind of, that kind of climate with all of these different variables. So, and those that do, all right, I will just say, you are getting a horse, if you're in the United States, anywhere not south. So you're in the cold, anywhere not west. All right. So you're in the heart of the cold in the winter. You are now, who's going to be responsible for taking care of that horse? Is the little 6-year-old that you just bought it for?
No.
Okay. Then that means that you as the parent are going to need to go out there, and it's cold. You're not going to have any kind of a honeymoon period of, this is beautiful
so fun.
Weather
it's beautiful
out.
Let's go play with
Let's
the pony.
go take
Let's
it
go
for a walk.
Clean the barn. None of that.
No. If you're in Missouri, we're already in the 30s. We're in the 20s at night.
It's freezing.
It's freezing. And guess what? That little horse needs to be taken care of. And it needs to be fed. It needs to have its hay. It needs to have its stall cleaned. So, our stalls get cleaned 3 times a day.
Mm-hmm. Getting
manure out of the horse's area is one of the best ways to keep it healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Keep parasites away from it.
Also, just to add in, about the weather and everything, if you get the horse on Christmas Eve, a week before, anything, horses don't care if it's a holiday.
No.
Horses don't know that it's a holiday. And on Thanksgiving, when we gave everybody the day off, we had to go take care of the ponies. It didn't matter that we were having people over for Thanksgiving dinner. Well, actually,
just our family, but I still had a turkey in the oven.
Dinner, but none of that matters.
No.
It won't matter on Christmas Day either.
Nope. It does not matter. It doesn't matter if you're buying this for your child and you're trying to teach them how to care for a pony. And again, I want to make this point. I'm not saying that everybody that gets one is a bad person, okay? We're just talking about these impulsive purchases.
You just have to know.
So if you're trying to teach your child that this is their responsibility, what happens when there's a snow day and they want to wake up and it's a snow day? They don't have to go to school. They want to stay in their pajamas all day. They want to lay by the fire. They want to bake cookies. They want hot chocolate. Guess what, kid? You got to go outside.
Guess what, kid?
You got to go outside. You got to feed your pony.
Yeah.
You got to clean up after your pony. And newsflash, his water bucket froze overnight. Do you know how hard it is for a 6-year-old to unfreeze a water bucket? You know how hard it is for an adult?
Do you know how hard it is for me just to carry a water bucket?
You know how hard it is for me to carry a water bucket? I like have
and now he's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. So there's a lot to consider. We're not trying to dissuade people from getting miniature horses. We're trying to give you the information. Okay. So you're
having a miniature horse is different, obviously, than taking care of a full-size horse if people have full-size horses. But this information all pertains to regular full-size horses as well.
Totally. Okay. So you also have to think about, where am I going to put this thing? You can't just bring it home and say, well, we've got a field in the back. It's not even touched. You can't just bring it home. It needs to have shelter. There's going to be cold. There's going to be rain. There's going to be wind. This little horse needs protection. So you need to think about having some type of, if you don't
trees aren't good enough.
No. If you don't have a barn, you're going to have to build something, some kind of a run-in
shed,
a run-in, which is 3-sided, and that provides them some protection, provides them some warmth. It provides them a way to keep their hay in there and let them eat when it's not, getting wet. So you need to think about your shelter. You need to think about feed. While yes, miniature horses are small, so they eat less than a full-size horse, they nonetheless still eat. Now, ours don't eat a regular feed. They eat what's called a ration balancer. So it's something that gives them all of their nutrients that they need without all the extra fat and calories. So you need to think about the cost that's going to be associated with feed. You need to think about the hay, because hay varies according to where you are in the country.
Totally.
And, you can buy hay anywhere that I'm aware of. I would say here's the range. Anywhere from $3 to $12 a bale is what I would say. Now, if you're getting, where did we get the Timothy hay for a while? The Montana. Yeah. It was like 17.
Far.
Yeah, it was $17 a bale.
$17 a bale.
But that's what we needed at the time.
Yeah.
So
also, people don't take into account if there's a hay shortage, if there's bad weather, if there's flooding, if there's anything. We've known barns before that keep a whole extra storage full of hay just in case of emergencies. Yep. And remember way back when I first started riding, and the board bill would have like an emergency hay price, and that those things happens. And sometimes we will call our hay guy and he's like, oh, let me call so-and-so because, they'll be out. Sometimes the fields just don't produce what they're supposed to, or the weather just, it doesn't cooperate. Yeah,
and you run
into hay is not Well, yeah, it's not always a guarantee.
No, it is not. It's very unpredictable. And by the end of the season, the hay season, which is generally around, May, when you start running out, end of April and May, you start running out. Hay is at a premium to find hay.
And when we've been in like a dire situation to get hay, and we will get hay from like a feed store, and like we'll take all that you've got, and they're like, we can't give it all to you. Like, what? Somebody else is going to need hay. Everybody's in the same predicament that you're in.
It's what's the right word to use on the radio? It's gross. It's gross hay by that time of the year.
Oh,
it's
totally.
It's really bad. The horses
are
and
then the horses just pick through it and they step on it. They're not eating it.
Yeah.
It's
So you have to think about your hay. Where you're going to store it. You have to keep it dry. You have to keep it off the ground.
Yep.
We keep ours on pallets. A lot of people keep it on pallets. So hay is a big thing to think about, and it's an expense. You have to think about the farrier.
It's also a dangerous thing to store.
It's very dangerous to store. We do not store our hay in the barn. That is the number one fire risk for fire, is keeping hay in your barn. And a lot of people put it right up in their loft. Yep. And that's the number one fire risk. So we keep our hay in a garage, elevated on pallets. You have to keep it. You have to keep it so many inches from the ceiling. You have to keep it so many inches from the walls. You don't want mold to get in there.
We had the fire people come out and even check.
We had the fire inspector come out.
Oh, well, yeah. He came out and inspected and was like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hay's no joke.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's another consideration. Veterinary care is very important. Let me tell you guys, not every equine vet knows how to take care of a miniature horse.
Totally. And just because you have access to an equine vet does not mean, if you think, oh, well, I know that there's a vet right down the road, I would definitely call before you get a miniature horse. Hey, I'm picking one up. I'm getting one. I'm thinking about getting one. Do you have any vets?
What's your experience?
Inexperience with.
And not only is it their experience, it's having the right equipment. Because minis, are you telling me that when they colic, you're going to stick a tube that goes up a full-size horse, up a miniature horse's nose? It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. We've heard about a vet before.
It's been sad. You hear sad stories.
So you have to, don't just assume.
No, do not assume that your vet is experienced or equipped to work with a miniature horse. And make those arrangements ahead of time. Okay, farrier. Farrier's another thing.
Don't just assume.
And you know what? A lot of farriers, they don't want to work on a mini.
No, heck no. I would not. Oh my God. I can't even look at the farrier when he comes and trims the pony's feet. I'm like, my back is breaking looking at your back. And they're like, well, my back's already broken, so it doesn't hurt anymore.
So, think about it, you guys. The farrier is bending over, holding up a foot, and shaping it, trimming it, and getting it, corrected. And not every farrier is willing to do that on a miniature horse. So you have to make sure that you've got one that's willing to do that. And it's expensive.
A lot of, but also there's minis can also, be sassy, have behavioral problems, and they just whip their neck around and, take a nibble. They can just be a pain.
Tom is literally an angel when it comes to working with the minis, because especially the girls who were nightmares to trim their feet, and he would hold their foot and they'd be, pulling it. And he'd be talking and he'd just say, you know what? They're going to realize it's okay and no one's going to hurt them. Yeah. And then before you know it, they'd relax. Yeah. But you have to have someone who's willing to do that with your mini. What?
The birds.
Oh, the birds. I know. Is it awful, Josh? He's like, I hate this.
I hate this. I'm sorry. I hate it too.
Well, let's just power through.
We are powering through.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So the farrier is also going to cost, let's say, anywhere from $25 to $50 a time, depending on where you live. And we get ours trimmed every 6 weeks.
Drive in if they've got, some sort of a fee for how far they have to drive.
So every 6 weeks, I think,
Yeah.
is about the norm. Some of ours get trimmed every 4 weeks. Some of ours get trimmed every 3 weeks. Some of ours every 2 weeks. And some of ours used to be every week. So you have to think about these expenses all along the way.
Yep.
Okay. Couple more things that we need to make sure people realize that this is not just a cute little pony that you're getting for Christmas. They also have a personality. That does not mean that just because a little miniature horse is cute, that it's going to be sweet and that's going to be loving and that you can put your little 4-year-old around
Right
it.
on their back.
First of all, they've probably never had a child on their back. So you have to understand that. But also, these guys, as we've said before, are sold and traded every day of the year. And so you may be buying a miniature horse from someone who is reputable. You may be buying a miniature horse from somebody who's not reputable. Maybe they're going to tell you all of its good, bad, and ugly things about it, and maybe they're not. And the stuff that they're not going to want to tell you, because you're not going to want to buy it if they do, is they're not going to tell you if it kicks, if it bites, if it pins its ears,
I mean,
if it's hard to catch.
Would somebody say he might nip you? Okay, bye.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're not going to tell you.
I know. So
no, I think that there are people out there who will say, this little guy needs somebody who knows what they're doing.
But
if he's got bad behavior.
Right. And
this little guy needs someone who's going to spend time with him.
Right. And I think that kind of person who is going to put out that information is more likely to keep tabs and check in and
it's probably from a rescue,
right?
Who's going to say this one's going to need someone who's really willing to put the money into.
That's how it was with the girls when we first went and saw them, and they were telling us all of the problems that they're going to have in the future, and they're scared and they need to be in the right home. We were like, who's going to take them? In what world is anybody going to take them?
No one.
Nobody.
So you have to think, you may have a cute little horse on your hands, but they sure might not be easy to handle. And do not put a child in danger's way just because you think Christmas morning is going to be fun.
And just kind of circling back to Mr. Chocolate, when we first saw him, I was like, we have to have him. I mean, he's the cutest thing.
He was at the Humane Society.
Yeah, he was at the
Humane Society.
He was the cutest thing. And his name was Junior. And they were like, oh, okay, good luck. I'm like, what do you mean good luck? But he is like and he was fine. But he's the quintessential, somebody would pick him out because of how cute he is. And he's the perfect example of a miniature horse that some family would have. And those kids would grow up and say, we had this miniature horse and he was a riot and we did all of this stuff with him. And, we had to watch our backs or something, even though he hasn't bitten anybody.
No.
But he's just anyway, we'll do a whole thing on him. But he's like a quintessential get for your kids, and they would have a blast with him, but they would also have some stories about him.
Well, and another thing that we didn't talk about too is that some people are going to have this cute little pony show up on their front yard for Christmas morning, and they're thinking to themselves, well, this doesn't really apply to me because we're going to board it. There's a barn right down the street. We're going to board it. It's okay. So first of all, you have to make sure that barn is willing to take a miniature horse, because if it is of any certain specialty, if it's a dressage barn or if it's a, hunter jumper barn, they may not want it. Yeah. Okay. They have a certain type of horse they're showing, they're competing, and they don't necessarily want a miniature horse in one of their stalls. So there are other places that will be like, yeah, we'll take them. But guess what? You're taking up a stall that a full-size horse could be taking. So if we're charging $700 for this stall, we're charging you $700 for that stall. So don't think that you're going to get a break just because you've got a little horse.
Right.
So you have to think about all these things. You also have to think about, before you even bring it into, again, any reputable barn, you're going to have to get some tests done for it. You're going to have to get a Coggins test done. You're going to have, that's again by the vet. It's a blood test that just basically goes through and deciphers that this pony does not have certain diseases and is not going to bring.
And you have to have a Coggins with you when you take your horse anywhere, whether it's
if you have to trailer that
to a show or if it's to anywhere.
You trailer him anywhere, you have to have a Coggins test.
Yeah.
Current on that pony, and pictures, and the pictures also serve well if there's ever any doubt of a theft or a loss. It's got all of its markings on there. So there's a lot more to think about than just going and saying, we're getting little Billy a pony for Christmas, and it's going to be so cute. Now, we dress our ponies up for Christmas and they are so cute, but this is what we do, is try to tell you that if you want that, here's the work that goes with it.
Yes.
Okay. Here's the pony. Oh, here's what goes with him.
Yes.
All right. And it's
here's
a lot.
Here's the pony. And here's all of his suitcases.
Yeah. Here's everything else. And back up the truck to carry the suitcases. So, and then everything else that goes with it. Grooming. You can't just leave them alone. You can't just, look at the pictures of Chloe. Go to our website. Go to our YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. Look at the pictures of Chloe when we first got her.
And that's what I was going to say. I think if you have horses in a barn or if you have them in a boarding barn, they are more likely to get groomed.
Mm-hmm.
And versus if you keep them outside, because they're outside and you're probably like, well, I'm going to brush them and they're just going to go roll and get dirty again. They're fine. They don't look that bad. But especially more so if your horse does live outside, even just always be sure to rub your hands all over their body. Rub them down their legs. Run them through their manes. Make sure there's no burrs stuck to them. Make sure that they didn't get a cut. Make sure they don't have a tick.
Yes.
And same goes for ours that, go out into the field. They come back into their stall. But if you think, oh, I'm just going to put, my pony out in the field. He can come in, but he's going to go back out. Always just keep an eye. Keep tabs on their legs. Ticks in the summer, and back to Chloe, her pictures when we first got her mane was covered and covered in burrs.
Mm-hmm.
And
same with the girls.
Well, yeah, but they were neglected. They were left outside, and are they bushes that have burrs?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So if they, rub up in bushes and whatnot, but it becomes a rat's nest.
Totally.
So you know what? And grooming is the time. It's a bonding experience for you and your horse. It's a quiet time. If they're uncomfortable with it, they can learn to become comfortable with it. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it's when you pick up on any imperfections on their skin, on their body, any bumps, any bruising, anything that's on them. You're brushing them from head to toe and you find it. Mm-hmm. So grooming is very, very important. And it's something that both pony and horse or person really would come to enjoy. So, you know what, you guys, that's the point of today's show is Christmas ponies belong only in the hands of those who are willing to commit to the pony. This is not a short-term engagement. This is not a 2 months and we're tired of it and we're going to get rid of it.
It's cold. I didn't realize it was going to be cold.
I didn't realize it was going to be this much work. And guess what? These things live a long time. But they live a long time. I mean,
I know oh my God, they live forever.
They live forever. You should expect, if you're buying a pony, you should expect that your kids will likely be old enough to get married and that pony may still be around. So it's a long time, 20 plus years for miniature horses. And that's a long time. When your kids are grown, when they're 14 years old, they may not want to be around the ponies anymore. When they're 18 years old and they're going off to college, guess who's taking care of that horse? So it's a lot to think about. So we want you to know that sometimes you can get a fix by going places. You can
finding a rescue, offering,
go volunteer your time,
or if
watching
there's a farm
the videos
down the road, or just.
But making that commitment to actually buy one, bring one home, have it, That is a very big commitment,
Yes.
and it should not be taken lightly.
No.
So that is our message for today, is Christmas ponies are cute, but they are the next 20 years of your life. And you need to think about that.
Unless they're already like 20 years old.
Unless they're 20 years old. But still, you could have another 5 to 7,
Or-
8 years. What? Or pregnant like Eleanor.
Yeah, we got a 20-year-old and she was pregnant.
Yeah.
So now we've got, while we were like, oh, great, Eleanor's 20. She can go in with the older ones. We're going to give her a nice end to her life.
Yep.
Boom, baby.
Boom.
20. We got another
20 plus
years
years
on Eleanor.
with Tutty. Yeah. So, so anyway, you guys, we just want to give you something to think about and really understand what you're doing. Dave just walked in. The puppies are probably going to start barking any
Stirring
second.
handsomes up.
I hope that the birds didn't just, annoy you during our talk today.
I'm so sorry. They will be gone next time.
Yeah. This was a whole bunch of newness today. So at any rate, we're going to take a couple, probably a break. I don't think we're going to do it next week because it's close to Christmas.
And then we'll be Christmas.
Yeah. So we're going to probably take some time off. So you'll just have to go back and watch episodes 1 through 7 again.
And be on the lookout for our Christmas pictures.
Be on the lookout for our
If
Christmas
they-
pictures.
oh my God.
And
If
we're
they
also
come-
going to
if they
read.
turn out.
We're going to read Martha's
yeah.
book this week. So be on the lookout for that. All right. Dave's unloading
Okay.
groceries. So that's another added noise in the background. So you guys, thanks for joining us. Have a
Sorry
great
for
day.
the chaos, but it wouldn't be
This
R&R
has
Ranch,
been-
Stacey and Belle without.
This has been the R&R Ranch Roundup with Stacey and Belle. We appreciate you joining us. We love you, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.